Charlie, congratulations.
Thank you. Well, as Kamala Harris would say, we did it, Joe, but we did it, Megyn. And your speech was awesome, by the way. Thank you for your support and how amazing that was. I really believed it moved votes. And not to mention just your podcast here, I think it held the line with sane women in this country and gave them an understanding of the stakes and gave them an understanding of really what we are up against. And so you deserve a lot of credit too, Megyn, because this was really a coalition. There's so much to unpack from this election. Part of it is also how alternative media was able to crush the major propagandist networks. And you look at 4 years ago during COVID, all of our alternative media was largely censored, but we won this time. Podcasts and shows like this one, Joe Rogan, my show, the All In podcast, the left couldn't keep up with it. And President Trump, to his great credit, built a once in a lifetime unity ticket, which I think the media completely underestimated, from Bobby Kennedy to Tulsi Gabbard. And then finally, of course, it cannot be repeated enough. God bless Elon Musk. I mean, that guy put it all on the line. I mean, it wasn't just like he wrote a check and hoped it would get better. He lived in Pennsylvania the last 45 days of the election. He personally would host town halls across the state of Pennsylvania. He was giving away $1 million a day to random citizens to help encourage citizen participation. And so there's a lot of people that deserve credit. We all kind of played a small role. And that's why it feels so different than 2016. 2016 was just lightning in a bottle, took them by surprise. It was a movement. This was really 30 or 40 different people that went all in, that we just called the bluff of the Democrats, and we beat the most powerful thing ever to exist in the history of the world. It's pretty awesome. Praise God.
Oh, it's amazing. And you are so generous and kind to be giving me any credit when you truly deserve actual credit for getting Donald Trump elected. I mean, truly, you're one of a handful of 5 that really made the difference. And we need look no further than the youth vote. That wasn't the exclusive reign of your influence, but man, when have young people come out for the Republican? I mean, like never. And especially in today's day and age where he's been totally demonized all over TikTok and the sources of information that they use. But you reached billions. I mean, obviously there's not that many people voting in this election, but I mean, the number of views of your videos going out onto these college campuses, challenging them, saying, go ahead, like, why are you voting for her? Let's walk through it. That would go viral every time. We have to look at some of them because, like I said, it's just so fun right now. Here's one woman who was very much determined to believe that Donald Trump is a racist, and here's Charlie dismantling her. Saw it too.
You got to give me a good reason, at least 2, why you don't like Trump.
He's racist. Yup, boomy.
Can you define what does it mean to be racist?
Do you want me to look up a definition?
No, I want you to. You said he's a racist, so you must have a definition of racism in your mind. Tell me what that definition is.
Okay, so, I'm gonna make you guys wait on this. Ooh, zero knowledge.
Guys, please don't heckle.
It's hatred towards another race, right?
So when has he ever exhibited that? Give me clear and specific examples.
You got one? Well, yeah, I heard someone say he told. Yes!
Okay, but let me just help you out here.
Uh-huh.
What, you think he's a racist because the media has told you he's a racist? Because you can't give me an example off the top of your head, and even when you phone a friend to the audience. I'm not criticizing you. Maybe the media is lying to you.
Wow. Truer words were never spoken. How many exchanges do you think you had like that on college campuses, Charlie?
Oh, I mean, we had hundreds this semester. That particular video, by the way, received over 60 million views on TikTok alone. 60, and that's just, and so we tallied it up. It was, again, billions of views. So that means that target young voters were watching our content 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times. And so Megyn, we do these tours. I visited 25 college campuses this semester, which is the most I've ever done. And over the summer, we said, how do we make a difference? And we were doing these videos in the spring. And I came up with the idea. I said, man, I think the election is going to be as hot as a pistol. I think there's going to be a lot of interest. Why don't we do the most tours ever? But instead of the traditional evening events, why don't we do these kind of dialogues and these exchanges to try to see if we can show the world the contrast of ideas and to see which ideas are better and to kind of create this digital movement of people that want to make up their mind. And Megyn, it was way more successful than I could have ever imagined. And part of it was how unscripted it was. There was no, anyone could come up at any time, a professor, a professional debater, you could bring notes, you could bring 10 friends with you. It doesn't, there's no rules, right? And so that's very interesting to an audience, both digital and in person. And it was so real when so much of this campaign on the Democrat side was fake and synthetic. And so here we were with the most real thing you can do, which is set up a table and talk to people that are 180 degrees opposed to you. And so we started doing these events in the first one we did was University of Wisconsin-Madison, and we drew 2,000 people. And I said, I've been doing this for 12 years, okay? I've done more on college campuses than I think anybody in this space, not, belittling anybody, but it's been the fields of which I've been working for 12 years. We'd be lucky to get like 100 people and a lot of protesters, right? We drew 2,000 people in Madison as our first one in September. And I turned to my team, I said, is this an anomaly? Is there something happening at Madison that I don't know? And all of a sudden we did 3 or 4 more and it was becoming the rule. And I said to my team, I said, guys, something is happening on these campuses. And the media was ignoring it. In fact, we were mocked on social media by all the intelligentsia of the political establishment, right? And the left saying, oh, the polls show that younger voters are going to go for Kamala than ever before. And I said, well, maybe, but what I'm seeing is unlike anything I've ever seen before. And not only that, Megyn, our ground game and our ground team was registering these kids to vote. We were getting thousands and thousands of these first-time voters. So it wasn't just like, okay, let's put on a show and we leave. We were translating the support into votes, which is kind of was the operating thesis. It was our theory of the case, if you will, as we were going into this. And then finally, as a kicker, we had Mark McKinnon go to one of our campus stops, who's a fair guy, but he's definitely not a Trumper, and he was a Bush guy. No. He did the circus. And I've always had respect for him. And he started to see this stuff on social media. And to his credit, unlike anybody else, he's like, I need to see this. He was almost like, I don't believe it. So he went to the University of Georgia, and we drew 5,000 people, Megyn, 5,000 people at the University of Georgia. And he went, and he was like, I said that Kamala was going to win, but now I'm second guessing myself based on what he saw. I was like, yeah, Mark, there's something happening here. And now the exit polls, we won the youth vote in Michigan. We almost won it in Wisconsin. In Pennsylvania, we don't know, but we almost flipped Center County, which is Penn State. We got within 1 point of it, which usually it's a 20-point Democrat victory there. And we went to Penn State and did a massive event. We did 5 events in Penn State, by the way, this cycle for obvious reasons. And it's tempting to say that it was a landslide, which it was. However, let me kind of humble the audience a little bit. Donald Trump won by less than a point in Wisconsin, about 28,000 votes. He won by a point-ish, 1.2 in Michigan. And then he won by 1 point in Pennsylvania. And so, Megyn, it is conceivable that without this record movement of youth vote, he doesn't win. And I'm not saying that because I'm, in that space, but we're talking about 1.5 points across 3 states. Now, the Sun Belt states were more generous and were more decisive. But as you know, everyone was saying, if you can't win a Rust Belt state, Kamala is president. So you could say that the kids are all right, and the kids put Donald Trump back in the White House.
Trust in the media is at an all-time low. Can you blame them? Let's be honest. There's very good reason for this. We're all seeing how stories can be shaped or buried or killed or manipulated, depending on who's in charge. And this is why I want to tell you about a platform that does not play by those rules, one that prioritizes transparency above all else. Listen to this. The platform's called Ground News, an app and website that gathers related articles from around the world in one place, highlighting each source's political bias and corporate influence. And they show you stories that are underreported by one side of the political spectrum. A recent Gallup survey showed declining trust in mass media, and guess who didn't cover it? Left-leaning media. On Ground News, more than 80% of the coverage of this story is coming from right-leaning sources. Ground News has an entire blind spot feed with stories like this that are receiving lopsided coverage. And my viewers get 50% off their Vantage plan, which gives you unlimited access to their website and to their app. They are independent. They are supported by subscribers, not corporate interests. Check them out at groundnews.com/Megyn. That's ground, GROUND, news.com/Megyn to take back control of the news you consume. Thanks so much for watching. If you like what you just saw, hit the subscribe button for more clips and full episodes.